In today's video, we're going to show you how to use VLOOKUP, but returning results to the left of the ID column. So what is this about? So let me just show you a quick example of how VLOOKUP normally works. So if we do VLOOKUP, we can take this ID and we can return the region by going to column 2 and false. So this is how it normally works, because VLOOKUP takes this ID and looks in the first column that we give it and then returns results to the right. And so there's no way to natively return something to the left, because if we include column G, for example, it returns nothing because it's looking in this column now for that 1004. So the way we can compensate for this is make a little custom array. And so we do this using curly braces. And so then we can select this first column, and you can either select a certain range, you can drop the end reference there, and then we can do comma, and we can add other columns. So we could add just like one column, for example, if we only wanted to return name, and then close with a curly brace. And then we need to make sure we have the same number of rows in each. So if I have 12, it has an error. But if I go back to G, they both have the same rows. And if we hit enter now, you can see it's returning John Krasinski for 1004. So we change this to 1007. You can see now it has Phyllis. And so this is working as anticipated. But what if we have multiple columns that we want to return? And this is where VLOOKUP really shines, because we could have done this with XLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP would look like this. And we can take that key, and then we simply select that ID column and the column we want to return, hit enter, and we're done. So in some ways, this is easier if you want to return one column. You can even return more than one column like this. But what if you have a column then, on the other hand, that you also want to return? In this case is where we can use a little magic in VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP, key, and then we can create our custom field here, a custom array. I'm going to drop that end reference, and then I'm going to select the whole field. So we are overlapping, but this is going to be where it gets a little interesting. So let me just go back to just our name. So Phil Smith. Now, if we want to return more than one, what we can do in VLOOKUP is we can do another custom array here. And in this case, we just have 2, right? But we can add multiple index references. So we could do 2 and 3. Now, when we first do this, there's nothing else showing up at the moment. And that's because what we need to do is wrap this with array formula. And now it has Phil Smith and gold. So now it's returning both of those columns. And so again, so far we haven't done anything XLOOKUP can't do, but this is where the magic truly happens. And so we can add another column here. So if you look at this, we have I4 to I, that's column 1. And so this is column 2, this is column 3. And so if we did 4, it return ID column again, but if we do 5, it's going to return that region. And so now we can bounce over, return these two and this column, and it could be as many columns as you want. So you keep going if you had, K or J or even up to whatever, and then you just keep adding more columns here. So you could do 6, 7, etc. And so this is the genius of this method, is it allows a lot of flexibility, more so than even XLOOKUP. And then let's look at one more case scenario here. If you had multiple rows of data, and then let me just paint this format down here. So if you wanted to return more than one row of data, we could just do something like this. And now we have multiple rows returning. All right, so that is it for today's video. Make sure to check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.